Welcome everyone to Design Bytes, a weekly series that takes a look at and breaks down good, bad, and interesting instances of game design. In today's video, it's time to take a look at how video games' most beloved sidekick was brought back for his grand return. Let's analyze how Yoshi's first appearance in a 3D Mario game, Super Mario Sunshine, was handled, and how a couple of key design choices took Yoshi from being an awesome power-up from past games and turned him into Mario's underpowered and underperforming dragon buddy. Super Mario Sunshine is a really interesting case study in game design, because it's a game that features a ton of different mechanics of varying complexity. But the decision to include Yoshi here is luckily one of the easiest to break down. Historically, Yoshi has always been one of the best things a player can come across in a Mario game. Let's take a look at how he works in Super Mario World, which is the game where he made his grand debut. In this game, having Yoshi is almost always a benefit to players. He always allows Mario to take an extra hit and can serve as a last resort extra jump if someone's feeling particularly cold-hearted. He also allows players to eat enemies, projectiles, and interact with the world in a variety of ways that Mario couldn't do otherwise. Unless players want to fly, which is power-up dependent anyways and situational, being on Yoshi is never really a bad thing. Unfortunately, Super Mario Sunshine implements Yoshi in a way that doesn't really match his original purpose, and this is actually because of one simple reason: possible developer oversight. By comparison, Mario by himself is so overpowered when he's matched against Yoshi in Mario Sunshine that there is pretty much no scenario where it is better to have Yoshi over having Mario by himself. In almost all scenarios, having Yoshi in this game is a downgrade in status because Mario's natural platforming abilities are just too good. Let's break it down to see how the two characters match up and how it made Yoshi's role change. In Sunshine, Yoshi retains a lot of his character-specific mechanics, such as having the flutter jump to gain extra height off a normal jump, the ability to ground pound, and having the ability to eat enemies. He's also gained the ability to squirt juice from his mouth as a long-range projectile. This juice is able to eradicate certain types of gummy-like obstacles called force fields, and can affect enemies in different ways too, such as turning them into blue coins used to get shine sprites or other collectibles. This all sounds good until he's compared to Mario. In short, Mario can do everything Yoshi can do, but he can do it better. FLUDD's hover nozzle compares favorably to Yoshi's flutter jump because it has more control in the air and lasts longer. Yoshi's juice is essentially an identical attack to Mario's spray nozzle, but during it, Mario is more mobile and can use it in more situations. Mario's secondary abilities, such as wall jumping and using other FLUDD nozzles to give him super high jumps or quick speed, all make him more capable by himself without his dragon buddy. But there's two other mechanics at play here that add to this dilemma. Yoshi can't touch water or else he dies, and his juice meter acts as a timer before he disappears. Of course, given the tropical setting of Sunshine, it's easy to see why an aversion to water is problematic for Yoshi, because there are death traps everywhere for the poor little guy. The juice meter itself can be refilled by eating fruit at least, but all it does is reset the timer, which still makes Yoshi a very limited resource for players. So what does this all mean for our favorite dragon? It means that Yoshi's role had to change when he came into the 3D landscape. He's no longer a super awesome power-up disguised as a fun sidekick that helps Mario beat challenges. He's instead one of two things. He's a well-timed key for a specific lock, and an instant fail gimmick for specific platforming challenges within levels. Even to gain access to using Yoshi, players have to hunt around levels for specific fruits he wants to eat before he'll even leave his egg, which is a task that can be easy or difficult in some levels. This oftentimes results in a needless waste of time. There are a lot of examples of Yoshi being the solution to a simple puzzle, but the most common ones players will encounter are these appropriately named force fields that block entrances to pipes and other areas. In almost all circumstances, reaching one of these areas with Mario is simple enough, but only Yoshi's juice can take them down. This is where Yoshi is the key. The lock is the force field, and the solution is to just simply use Yoshi's juice attack. The game usually designs the path to the force field around large blocks of water, which of course will kill Yoshi instantly when he touches them. This is really Yoshi's main purpose throughout the entire game, which really downgrades how he feels from previous titles. Otherwise, several levels have Yoshi-specific platforming challenges, but they generally aren't designed very well. A really good example of this is the Yoshi's Fruit Adventure mission found in Rico Harbor. Yoshi's juice can turn these fish into platforms, and they're necessary to climb a series of construction girders in a lake to reach the end goal, a shine sprite. In theory, this sounds like a fine idea, but it crystallizes the capability differences between Yoshi and Mario. Mario can make it up here pretty easy, but Yoshi's path is much more challenging because he not only controls worse in the air, he has less options for recovery than Mario has by himself. If a player falls into the water below, they'll have to climb all the way back to the starting point because of Yoshi's insta-death mechanic to water. And when the players do get to the end of this platforming section with Yoshi, they find a force field blocking the shine, because, of course, it's really the only reason to use Yoshi in Super Mario Sunshine. This isn't even the worst offender of this structure in the game, but it shows perfectly how Yoshi is no longer an awesome sidekick, but instead a mere gimmick used for the exact same lock and key setup throughout the game. As mentioned before, Super Mario Sunshine is a really complex game with a ton of different mechanics, especially when compared to other Mario titles. Because the developers put so much into Mario's kit and gave him so many cool movement and platforming options, it kind of feels like Yoshi was added for the sake of being added, rather than as a real extension of Mario's capabilities. Nintendo should be commended for trying to bring a unique spin to Yoshi as a sidekick, but not all great ideas translate well into solid gameplay. Yoshi's 3D debut may not have gone as well as it could have, but hey, he's Yoshi. He's always going to be our lovable dragon buddy.